So you're starting a business in Canada.
Congrats.
But before you go ordering those branded coffee mugs,
Yeah.
we need to talk about a decision that could save you some serious headaches down the line.
Right.
Choosing the right business structure.
Definitely.
It might not be as exciting as brainstorming product ideas,
Yeah.
but trust me, this choice impacts everything.
Oh, yeah.
From your legal responsibilities to your taxes.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm getting nervous now. So for today's deep dive, we're going to focus on two popular structures in Canada.
Okay.
Especially for those just starting out,
Mm-hmm.
the sole proprietorship and the corporation.
All right.
These are great options when
Right.
you're aiming to keep those initial costs low.
Definitely, for sure.
Ready to break it all down.
Let's do it.
Perfect.
Let's start with what seems like the simplest option,
Okay.
the sole proprietorship.
All right.
Is it really as straightforward as it sounds?
In many ways, it is.
I mean-
The simplest way to think about it is that you and your business are the same entity. There's no legal separation between you and your company.
Okay.
It's like that lemonade stand you ran as a kid.
Huh?
All the profits were yours,
Yeah.
but so were all the risks.
Look, the good old days of sidewalk entrepreneurship.
Right.
So no mountains of paperwork
Right.
or legal hoops to jump through.
You'll still need to register your business
Okay.
and potentially get a business license.
Okay.
Depending on your province or municipality,
Mm-hmm.
you might also need to do a name search
Okay.
if you're not operating under your own name.
Mm,
But compared to a corporation,
Right.
it's definitely a more streamlined process.
got it.
So besides the ease of setup, what are the advantages of operating as a sole proprietor?
One of the biggest advantages
Yeah.
is complete control.
Okay.
You call all the shots,
Mm,
reap all the rewards,
yeah.
and answer to no one.
Okay, cool.
Plus, the accounting is relatively straightforward,
Mm-hmm.
and the paperwork is minimal.
Right.
And let's not forget about the low setup costs,
Yeah.
which are always a plus
Always a plus.
for budding entrepreneurs.
Okay, let's talk numbers.
All right.
How much does it actually cost to set up shop as a sole proprietor in Canada?
In most provinces,
Yeah.
the basic registration fee is under $100 Canadian.
Okay.
For example, in Ontario,
Okay.
it's $60.
$60.
Over in British Columbia,
Mm.
you're looking at $40 for the name search
Okay.
and another $40 for registration.
Okay.
And in Alberta, it's $60.
60.
Quebec comes in even lower
Oh, wow.
at $36.
Wow. Okay.
Of course, you'll also need to factor in the cost of a business license,
Right.
which can range from around $50 to $200,
Yeah.
depending on your location and industry.
Okay, so all in, we're likely looking at a couple of $100s to get started.
Exactly.
Like bad.
Ontario, as an example,
Okay.
your first year as a sole proprietor might cost you approximately $240,
Okay.
covering registration, your business license,
Mm-hmm.
and a name search.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, though,
Yeah.
that this doesn't include any professional fees
Right.
for things like legal
Mm-hmm.
or accounting advice,
Yeah.
which can vary quite a bit
Yeah, of course.
depending on your needs.
Good point.
It's always wise to factor in those potential costs.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be honest, every rose has its thorn.
Right.
What are some of the downsides of going solo?
The biggest drawback
Okay.
is the unlimited personal liability.
Okay.
Remember how we talked about you and your business being one and the same?
Yeah.
That means if your business incurs debts
Mm-hmm.
or gets sued,
Yeah.
your personal assets,
Oh.
your house, car,
Right. Yeah.
savings
Right.
are all on the line.
Home.
There's no legal separation to protect your personal assets
Okay.
from business debts or legal judgments.
Okay. That's definitely a major concern.
It's a significant consideration.
Yeah.
Especially if you're operating in an industry with higher inherent risks. Right. Another potential downside is that it can be harder to raise capital as a
Okay.
sole proprietor.
Yeah.
Banks and investors often perceive corporations as more stable and credible,
Okay.
which can impact your ability to secure funding for growth.
So it's a trade-off
Yes.
between simplicity and security.
Yeah.
What about the tax side of things?
How does being a sole proprietor affect how you handle your business income and taxes?
When tax season rolls around,
Okay.
you'll report your business income and expenses
Mm-hmm.
directly on your personal tax return
Okay.
using the T1 form.
Okay.
Basically, your business income is treated as your personal income.
So there's no separate tax filing for the business itself.
That's right.
Okay.
You'll pay personal income tax
Mhm.
on any profits your business makes.
Right.
But the good news is
Yeah.
you might be eligible for certain small business deductions,
Yeah.
which can lower your overall tax bill.
Okay, cool.
And of course, if your earnings exceed $30,000 in a quarter, you'll need to register for it
Right.
and charge GST/HST,
Yeah.
which adds another layer of complexity.
Got it.
So we've covered the ins and outs of the sole proprietorship,
Right.
easy setup,
Yeah.
complete control,
Mhm.
and minimal paperwork.
Yep.
But it comes with the risk of unlimited liability
Right.
and might make raising capital more challenging.
It could.
Now let's move on to the more sophisticated option,
Okay.
the corporation.
All right.
What makes this structure different from being a sole proprietor?
Think of a corporation
Okay.
as its own separate legal entity, distinct from its owners,
Okay.
who are known as shareholders.
Right.
It's like creating a mini-me version of yourself
The mini-me.
that's solely focused on running the business.
Okay.
This separate legal personality
Yeah.
is one of the key advantages of a corporation.
So it's like building a legal wall
Exactly.
between your personal life and your business ventures.
That's it.
Okay, cool.
This separation offers a significant advantage.
Okay, what's that?
Limited liability protection.
Okay.
Your personal assets are shielded
Yeah.
from business debts and lawsuits,
Okay.
even if the corporation goes bankrupt
Yeah.
or faces legal trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Your house,
Mm-hmm.
car,
Yeah.
and personal savings
Okay.
remain protected.
That sounds like a much safer bet.
Are there any other advantages to incorporating?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
That make it appealing to entrepreneurs. What are the other perks?
Give them to me.
Corporations often have an easier time attracting investors
Okay.
and raising capital.
Right.
They're generally perceived as more credible and stable,
Okay.
which can be a significant advantage when seeking funding.
Right.
Additionally, corporations can sometimes be more tax efficient,
Ooh.
especially for higher earners.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Can you elaborate on those tax advantages?
In Canada,
Okay.
small businesses incorporated federally
Yeah.
benefit from a lower corporate tax rate,
Okay.
currently 9%,
9%. Okay.
on the first $500,000 of active business income.
Oh, wow.
This can lead to significant tax savings
Okay.
compared to paying personal income tax rates,
Mm.
which can be much higher,
Yeah.
especially as your income grows.
Interesting.
So there's the potential for saving money on taxes
Mm-hmm.
by incorporating,
Yeah.
but I'm guessing it's not all sunshine and rainbows, right?
Yeah, you're right.
What are some of the drawbacks of going the corporation route?
One of the biggest disadvantages
Okay.
is the complexity and cost.
Okay.
Setting up and maintaining a corporation is more involved than a sole proprietorship.
Yeah.
You'll have more paperwork,
More paperwork.
more stringent record-keeping requirements,
Okay.
and potentially higher accounting and legal fees.
So there's a bit more of a learning curve.
Definitely.
Okay.
Corporations operate under more formal rules and regulations.
Right.
You'll need to hold regular meetings,
Mm-hmm.
document decisions,
Okay.
and maintain meticulous records, often in something called a minute book.
A minute book.
You'll also need to file a separate corporate tax return each year,
Okay.
which can be more complex than filing a personal return.
Okay. I can see how that might feel overwhelming,
It can,
especially for someone just starting out. So how much more expensive are we talking about?
compared to a sole proprietorship.
Let's stick with our Ontario example.
What caro?
To incorporate your business federally,
Yeah.
you're looking at $200
200. Okay.
for the initial filing fee.
Right.
Then you'll need to factor in another $30
Okay.
for an NUANS name search,
Okay.
$20 for your annual return filing,
Mm-hmm.
and $60 to register your business name
Okay.
if it's different from your corporate name.
Right.
So you're looking at roughly $310 for that first year,
Okay. Pre-tax.
not including any professional fees for legal or accounting help.
So roughly $70 more
About that.
than a sole proprietorship.
Yeah.
Just for the initial setup.
That's not a huge difference,
Right.
considering the potential tax benefits and the added layer of protection.
But what about those taxes?
Sure.
You mentioned they can be more complex for corporations.
Can you walk us through the basics?
With a corporation,
Yeah.
the business itself pays corporate tax
Okay.
on its profits.
Right.
Then if the corporation distributes those profits to shareholders
Okay.
as dividends,
Right.
the shareholders pay personal income tax
Okay.
on those dividends.
So there's a two-step process to how those profits are taxed.
Exactly.
Okay.
And there are different tax rates for corporations and individuals,
Right.
which can make things a bit more complicated.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But here's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
There's the potential for tax deferral with corporations.
Okay.
You can choose to leave some of the profits within the corporation instead of distributing them as dividends,
Okay.
potentially lowering your overall tax burden
So it's a strategy.
for managing your tax liability over time.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course, this is where consulting with a tax professional can be really helpful.
Yeah.
They can help you create a tax strategy that maximizes your benefits.
That makes sense.
Taxes are definitely an area where expert advice can be invaluable.
Absolutely.
So we've got the sole proprietorship,
Mm-hmm.
the more straightforward and affordable option,
Yep.
but with higher personal risk,
Right.
and the corporation offering more protection and potential tax advantages,
Yeah.
but with increased complexity and cost.
These are some tough choices.
They can be.
How do you decide which one is the right fit for you and your new business?
There's no one-size-fits-all answer, unfortunately.
Ugh. I was hoping for an easy answer.
So there's a lot to think about.
There is.
What should be at the top of the list when making this decision?
First and foremost,
Okay.
think about the risk level of your business.
The risk level.
How likely are you to encounter lawsuits
Okay.
or face financial difficulties? Yeah. If you're in a higher risk industry, the limited liability protection of a corporation
Yeah.
might be worth the extra cost and effort.
Okay.
On the other hand, if you're in a lower risk field, a sole proprietorship might be sufficient.
Right. If you're selling handmade crafts online,
Exactly.
your risk profile is probably different
Very different.
than someone developing a new medical device.
It's also crucial to consider your personal assets.
Definitely.
How much are you willing to put on the line if things go south?
It's a good question.
If you have significant personal assets you want to protect, a corporation might be the safer bet.
It might.
It creates that legal separation,
Yeah.
shielding your personal assets from business risks.
That makes sense.
It's all about balancing the level of risk you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
What about budget?
Your budget is a key factor.
Okay, budget.
Be realistic about what you can afford for setup and ongoing costs.
Right.
Can you handle the additional expenses associated with the corporation,
Like what?
like higher accounting fees and the need to maintain more detailed records? Or would a simpler sole proprietorship
Right.
be a better fit
Yeah.
for your current financial situation?
Okay.
Sometimes starting simple
Yeah.
and evolving as your business grows
Mhm.
makes the most sense.
That's a good point.
Sometimes it's best to walk before you run,
Right.
especially when it comes to business finances.
Exactly.
What about those long-term goals we mentioned earlier?
How do they factor into choosing the right structure?
Your vision for the future is a
Okay.
crucial factor. Think about where you see your business
Okay.
in the next 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years. Wow.
Are you aiming for rapid growth,
Okay.
seeking outside investment, or planning to expand into new markets?
Okay.
If so,
Yeah.
a corporation might be the better choice.
Okay.
It provides a structure that's more conducive to attracting investors and scaling your business.
All right.
But if you're content with a smaller scale operation,
Yeah.
a sole proprietorship might be perfectly adequate.
So aligning your business structure
That's it.
with your ambitions.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Now let's revisit those taxes again.
Okay.
We talked about how corporations can offer tax advantages,
Mm-hmm.
but how do you know if that's the right path for you?
Taxes are a crucial part of the equation,
Yeah.
and they can get complicated quickly.
Oh, yeah.
That's why it's always wise
Yeah.
to consult with a tax professional.
Okay.
They can help you analyze your specific situation, project your income,
Yeah.
and determine which structure will be most beneficial for you in the long run.
Long term.
They can also help you develop strategies to minimize your tax burden
Right.
and maximize your deductions.
Good advice.
Taxes are definitely something you don't want to mess around with.
You don't.
Any other factors we should keep in mind?
One last thing to consider
Okay.
is privacy. With a corporation,
Yeah.
some of your business information becomes public record,
Public record.
whereas a sole proprietorship offers more privacy.
Okay.
Think about your comfort level
Right.
with that level of transparency. Some people are fine with having certain information publicly accessible,
Okay.
while others prefer to keep their business dealings more private.
That's a great point.
Transparency versus privacy is definitely something to consider.
It is.
So we've laid out the battlefield,
We have.
sole proprietorship versus corporation,
Mhm.
each with its own set of strengths and weaknesses.
Yep.
It all boils down to what's the right fit for your conquest.
Right.
But before we move on to part 2 of this deep dive,
Okay.
There are a few extra things to keep in mind, especially since we're talking about the unique landscape
of doing business in Canada.
Right.
Canada has its own set of rules and regulations.
Definitely.
And understanding those nuances can make a big difference in your success as an entrepreneur.
Ready to explore those Canada-specific considerations.
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Let's dive into those details in part 2.
All right.
Welcome back to the deep dive.
In part 1,
Yeah.
we explored the fundamental choice
Right.
between a sole proprietorship and a corporation
Mm-hmm.
for your Canadian business venture.
We dug into the advantages and disadvantages, weighed the costs, and even dipped our toes.
Into some of the unique aspects of doing business in Canada.
But we've only just scratched the surface.
Now it's time to delve deeper into those Canada-specific considerations and address some of the questions that might be swirling in your mind.
Yeah, for sure.
After our initial exploration.
Perfect.
Let's dive right in.
Okay.
One question that often pops up, especially for entrepreneurs with ambitious goals, is the difference between federal and provincial incorporation.
Right.
We touched on it briefly, but can you break it down for us in a bit more detail?
Imagine Canada as a vast network of highways.
Okay, highways.
Each province representing a stretch of road.
Okay, a stretch of road.
Provincial incorporation is like getting a license to drive on a specific provincial highway.
All right.
It's perfect if you're only operating within that province, but if you want to expand your business and drive across provincial borders,
across borders,
you'll need a federal license.
Okay.
That's where federal incorporation comes in.
So if I'm a budding entrepreneur with dreams of expanding my business across Canada, federal incorporation is the way to go.
Precisely.
Okay.
Federal incorporation gives you that national recognition and the legal right to operate in any province or territory.
So it's like having a passport.
Exactly.
That allows you to seamlessly navigate
the Canadian business
a
landscape.
Canadian business landscape. That's it.
That makes sense.
It's all about having the flexibility to grow.
And expand without hitting any legal roadblocks.
Exactly.
Now let's shift gears and talk about something. We briefly mentioned in part 1. Industry-specific regulations.
How do these regulations factor into the decision-making process?
This is crucial when choosing a business structure.
So industry-specific regulations.
Before you even think about incorporating, you need to understand the regulatory requirements specific to your industry. Some industries are heavily regulated with strict rules and licensing procedures, while others have fewer hurdles to jump through. For example, if you're starting a food business, you'll need to comply with a whole host of health and safety regulations. Obtain specific licenses and permits, and likely undergo regular inspections.
So it's not just about choosing the right business structure, but also making sure you're ticking all the boxes.
You got it.
From a regulatory perspective.
Failing to comply with industry regulations can lead to fines, legal trouble, and even the shutdown of your business.
That would be bad.
It's best to be proactive and thoroughly research the specific requirements for your industry. Don't be afraid to reach out to the relevant government agencies or industry associations for guidance.
Great advice.
Now let's dive back into the world of taxes.
We
know that corporations can potentially offer some tax advantages. But the details can be confusing.
They can.
Can you elaborate on those advantages?
While corporations can indeed be more tax efficient, and when it actually makes sense to incorporate from a tax perspective.
So tax advantages.
It's not a guaranteed slam dunk. It really comes down to your income level. And the profitability of your business. Remember, corporations pay corporate tax on their profit.
And then shareholders pay personal income tax on any salary or dividends they receive from the corporation.
So it's essential to understand how those two levels of taxation work together.
But here's the interesting part. Incorporating can sometimes lead to tax deferral.
Ooh, tax deferral.
This means you can potentially delay paying some taxes by retaining earnings within the corporation instead of immediately distributing them as dividends.
So it's a strategy for managing your tax liability over time.
It is.
But it's important to emphasize that tax planning can get complex quickly.
It can.
It's always wise to consult with a qualified tax professional.
Absolutely.
Who can analyze your specific financial situation and advise you on the most beneficial strategies.
Yep.
They can help you determine whether incorporating actually makes sense for your tax situation and guide you on how to structure your finances effectively.
Taxes are definitely not an area
where you want to go it alone.
Not at all.
Now let's switch gears and talk about one of the biggest advantages of incorporation.
Right.
Liability protection.
We know it can shield personal assets from business debts and legal issues.
Right.
But how does that work in practice?
Absolutely.
Can you give us some real-life examples?
Of how it might protect a business owner.
Imagine you're running a construction company.
Okay. Construction company.
As a sole proprietor.
All right.
One day there's an accident on a job site.
Uh-oh.
And a worker gets injured.
Okay.
They decide to sue for damages.
Okay.
Because you and your business are legally one entity.
Right.
Your personal assets, like your home, car, and savings, are all vulnerable.
Yeah. That's a scary thought.
Now imagine the same scenario.
Okay. Same scenario.
But this time, you're operating as a corporation.
All right. Corporation.
The injured party can still sue. But the lawsuit is directed at the corporation.
Okay.
Not you personally.
Okay.
Your personal assets are shielded.
Yeah.
Because of that legal separation between you and the business.
So the corporation absorbs the risk.
Precisely.
Not the individual.
Corporation's assets might be at risk.
Okay.
But your personal belongings are protected.
Got it.
Let's take another example.
Another example. Okay.
Imagine you're a freelance graphic designer.
Okay. Freelance graphic designer.
Running a corporation.
All right.
You sign a contract with a client. But for various reasons, you're unable to fulfill the terms of the agreement.
Uh-oh.
The client is unhappy.
Right.
And decides to sue.
They're suing.
Again, because you're incorporated.
Yeah.
The lawsuit targets the corporation.
Okay.
Not you as an individual.
That added layer of protection,
it
seems like a major advantage, especially in today's litigious world.
It's definitely a significant consideration for many entrepreneurs. However, it's important to note that limited liability isn't absolute. There are rare situations where a court might pierce the corporate veil.
Hold on.
What does piercing the corporate veil even mean?
It's a legal term that refers to situations where a court disregards the separate legal personality of a corporation and holds the individual owners or shareholders personally liable for the corporation's debts or actions.
So under what circumstances might that happen?
It's not common.
Okay.
But it can occur if there's evidence of fraud.
Fraud,
negligence, or the misuse of corporate funds.
Misuse of corporate funds.
For example, if a business owner is using corporate funds for personal expenses or engaging in fraudulent activities, a court might decide to hold them personally accountable.
So it's a reminder.
It is.
That incorporating doesn't give you a free pass.
To act unethically or irresponsibly.
You got it.
Limited liability is a powerful protection.
It is.
But it's essential to operate your business with integrity and within the bounds of the law.
That's right.
Now let's shift our focus
to
the practical aspects of running a business under different structures.
Are there any significant differences
in how you manage your finances?
As a sole proprietor.
Okay, sole proprietor.
Things are generally more straightforward.
Okay.
You have complete control, minimal paperwork, and the flexibility to manage your finances in a way that suits you.
Right.
You can deposit business income directly into your personal bank account.
All right.
And there's no need to hold formal meetings.
Okay.
Or keep detailed records of your decisions.
So it's a more casual and flexible approach.
It can be.
Okay.
But with a corporation, things get more formal.
More formal, okay.
You're required to maintain a separate corporate bank account.
Okay, separate bank account.
Keep meticulous records of all financial transactions.
Right.
Hold regular meetings with your Board of directors.
Board of directors.
Even if it's just you.
Okay, even if it's just me.
And meticulously document all major decisions.
That sounds like a lot more administrative overhead.
It can be.
But there are tools and resources available to help streamline those processes.
Okay, tools and resources.
Accounting software designed for corporations can simplify record keeping. And you can always hire a bookkeeper or accountant to handle the financial side of things.
Yeah, good point.
And don't forget about those minute books.
Wait.
What are minute books again?
Think of a minute book as a comprehensive record of your corporation's journey.
Okay. Corporation's journey.
It's a binder or digital file that contains all the essential documents related to the corporation's governance, including the articles of incorporation, bylaws, shareholder agreements.
Yeah. Shareholder agreements.
Minutes of meetings. And records of major decisions.
So it's a central repository
Precisely.
for all the critical, legal, and operational information.
Maintaining accurate and up-to-date minute books is a legal requirement for corporations in Canada.
In Canada?
It's not just about staying organized. It's about demonstrating transparency, accountability, and compliance. These records can be crucial in the event of a legal dispute.
Legal dispute.
An audit. Or even when selling your business.
Got it.
Minute books are essential.
They are.
For corporations.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about something that's often overlooked.
When choosing a business structure.
All right. What's that?
Branding and perception.
Branding.
Does the legal structure you choose
actually influence how customers or clients perceive your business?
It absolutely can.
Really?
While a sole proprietorship might be perfectly suitable for certain types of businesses. Some consumers and clients associate corporations with greater stability, credibility, and professionalism. They might feel more confident doing business with a company that has that added layer of formality.
So incorporating could potentially boost your brand image.
It's certainly possible and give you a competitive edge, especially if you're targeting larger clients, businesses, or government agencies. Having that corporate structure can enhance your perceived legitimacy and trustworthiness.
That makes sense.
It's all about understanding your target market and choosing a structure that aligns with their expectations.
So remember, your business structure is more than just a legal formality. It's part of your overall brand identity.
Great point.
So we've covered liability, taxes, regulations, practical considerations, even branding.
What other crucial factors should entrepreneurs consider?
One factor that often gets overlooked when making this all-important decision about their business structure.
What is it?
Is adaptability.
Adaptability.
The business world is dynamic and constantly evolving.
It is.
Your needs and goals might change over time.
It could.
And your business structure should be flexible enough to adapt to those changes.
So it's not a set it and forget it kind of decision.
Precisely. What works for you today might not be the ideal structure. A few years down the road, you might start as a sole proprietor to test the waters.
Test the waters.
And then decide to incorporate as your business grows, your revenue increases, or your risk profile changes.
So maybe things change down the line.
They might.
And I need to make a change.
Or
you might find
that a corporation is overly complex for your needs. And decide to revert to a sole proprietorship for simplicity. That flexibility is reassuring.
It is.
It means you're not locked into a specific structure forever. But what about the process of switching?
Is it complicated and expensive to change your business structure?
It can be. Once you've established one. Depending on the specifics of your situation. And the nature of the change. There are legal and administrative steps involved. And it's always wise to consult with professionals, lawyers and accountants, to ensure a smooth transition.
A smooth transition.
They can help you navigate the complexities. Changing structures and ensure you meet all the necessary legal and tax requirements.
Great advice.
So it's doable.
It is.
But it's best to get expert help.
That's a good idea.
To make sure it's done correctly.
Now, I want to address a question that often comes up from aspiring entrepreneurs who are just starting out.
Those who might be testing the waters. with a side hustle or a small-scale venture.
If you're not sure about your long-term plans.
Does it really matter what structure you choose?
That's a question many new business owners grapple with.
Yeah, I bet.
It's true that in the early stages, your long-term vision might be a bit hazy.
It might be.
But even if you're starting small or exploring a side hustle, choosing a structure that aligns with your current level of risk, your budget, and your immediate goals is still important.
So even for those small beginnings,
it is.
It's worth putting some thought into this decision.
You don't want to find yourself in a situation where your chosen structure is hindering your growth or exposing you to unnecessary risks. Even if you're starting small. It's essential to lay a solid foundation that can support your future aspirations.
That makes perfect sense.
It's about setting yourself up for success.
It is.
From the very beginning, regardless of the size or scope of your initial venture.
Now let's shift gears and talk about the resources available.
Resources.
To help entrepreneurs navigate these complex decisions.
We've mentioned government agencies and industry associations. But what other organizations or platforms
offer valuable guidance and support?
Canada has a fantastic ecosystem of support to those embarking on their entrepreneurial journeys.
For entrepreneurs.
One organization I highly recommend is Futurepreneur Canada.
Futurepreneur Canada.
They're a nonprofit dedicated to supporting young entrepreneurs aged 18 to 39.
18 to 39.
They offer financing.
Financing.
Mentoring. And a wealth of resources to help young businesses thrive.
So it's like a one-stop shop for aspiring entrepreneurs.
Pretty much.
Cool.
They can guide you through developing a business plan.
Business plan.
Securing funding.
Correct.
Connecting with mentors in your industry.
Mentor.
And navigating the various challenges of starting and growing a business.
That's fantastic.
Are there other organizations?
Absolutely.
Like Futurepreneur?
That offer similar support?
Many provinces and territories have their own economic development agencies or business development centers that offer a range of services.
What kind of services?
Including workshops.
Workshops.
Training programs. Mentorship opportunities. And funding assistance.
So even if you're feeling overwhelmed or unsure where to turn, there are plenty of people and organizations ready to help you navigate the entrepreneurial landscape.
Don't hesitate to reach out. And tap into those support networks. They're there to help you succeed.
That's great.
What about online resources?
That's a great question.
Are there any websites or platforms you recommend?
For accessing business-related information and advice.
One of the best starting points is the Government of Canada's website.
Government of Canada website.
They have a dedicated section for businesses. Packed with information on everything.
Wow, everything.
From registering your business to understanding your tax obligations and accessing various government programs and services.
Government programs.
They even have a handy online tool.
Ooh, a tool?
Called BizPal.
I've heard of BizPal.
What makes it so useful?
BizPal helps you determine the permits and licenses you need.
Permits and licenses.
To operate your business based on your location and industry. It simplifies the process of navigating those regulatory requirements and ensures you're operating legally and compliantly.
That sounds incredibly helpful.
It is.
Are there any other online resources you find particularly valuable?
For entrepreneurs.
Don't underestimate the power of online communities.
Online communities?
There are countless Facebook groups, forums, and online platforms. Specifically for entrepreneurs. For entrepreneurs.
These virtual communities can be incredibly valuable for connecting with other business owners. Sharing experiences, asking questions, getting advice, and finding support.
It's like having a network of mentors and peers accessible at your fingertips.
That's fantastic.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
We've explored the nuances of sole proprietorships and corporations, delved into those Canada-specific considerations, and even uncovered a treasure trove of resources for aspiring entrepreneurs.
But I want to leave you with one final and essential piece of advice.
I'm all ears.
What's the golden nugget of wisdom you want to share?
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Ask for help.
Starting and running a business can be daunting.
It can.
Filled with challenges and uncertainties.
There's absolutely no shame in seeking guidance and support.
I agree.
Whether it's from a lawyer,
right,
an accountant, a mentor, a business coach,
or a fellow entrepreneur.
Right.
Having a strong support system can be invaluable.
I couldn't agree more.
Building a network of trusted advisors and mentors can be one of the smartest moves you make as an entrepreneur.
So to recap,
we've tackled some common questions, uncovered valuable resources, and emphasized the importance of adaptability and seeking expert advice.
But before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, I want to leave you with a thought.
Right.
Now that you've absorbed all this information, it's time to put it into action.
Absolutely.
Don't let analysis paralysis hold you back.
Take that next step.
That's it.
Even if it's a small one.
That's right.
Every successful business started with an idea and the courage to pursue it.
Join us for the final part of this episode as we wrap up our deep dive
into choosing a low-cost business structure in Canada. Welcome back to the deep dive.
We've spent the last 2 parts exploring the ins and outs of sole proprietorships and corporations in Canada, trying to unravel the mystery
of which structure reigns supreme.
The big decision.
We've analyzed the pros and cons, crunched the numbers, and navigated the intricate web
of Canadian regulations.
Absolutely.
But now it's time to bring it all together and answer the ultimate question.
Okay.
Which structure is the right fit for your entrepreneurial journey?
Decision time.
But before we get into the nitty-gritty of making that choice,
I want to take a step back.
Okay.
And acknowledge something important that sometimes gets lost in the world of legal jargon and financial spreadsheets.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Starting a business
is about more than just choosing the right structure or maximizing profits. It's about passion, purpose,
and making a meaningful contribution to the world.
I couldn't agree more.
It's easy to get caught up in the practicalities.
It is.
But it's the passion that drives us.
Yeah.
The purpose that fuels our vision.
Exactly.
So before you make that final decision about your business structure, take a moment to reconnect with your why.
Your why.
Why are you starting this business? What impact do you want to make?
Good question.
What values and beliefs
will guide your journey?
That's a powerful exercise. It is when you're clear on your why, the rest of the decisions, including choosing the right structure, become much clearer.
Yeah.
It's like having a compass that points you in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Now let's get back to the practicalities.
Okay.
Between a sole proprietorship and a corporation.
All right.
We've discussed a lot of factors to consider.
We have.
But can you give us a quick recap?
Of those key decision-making points, what are the essential things to keep in mind?
We've explored risk tolerance.
Okay, risk tolerance.
Budget considerations. Growth aspirations. Tax implications.
Our privacy.
Concerns. And the unique regulatory landscape in Canada.
So many things.
Ultimately, it boils down to a fundamental question.
Okay, the fundamental question.
Are you willing to trade simplicity for security?
That's a great way to frame it.
A sole proprietorship offers ease of setup and lower costs.
Right.
But it comes with unlimited personal liability.
That's the trade.
A corporation provides that crucial legal separation, shielding your personal assets. But it's more complex and expensive to establish and maintain.
It is.
So if you're comfortable with the risks and prioritize simplicity, a sole proprietorship might be the perfect fit.
It might.
But if you value that extra layer of protection and are willing to invest more upfront for potential long-term benefits,
a corporation might be the better choice.
It could be.
It's all about finding that balance between simplicity and security.
Aligning your choice with your comfort level and your vision for the future. Let's tackle an area that often causes confusion.
All right, what's that?
The difference between provincial and federal incorporation.
Provincial versus federal.
We've touched on it before.
Yeah.
But can you give us a clear and concise explanation
of when it makes sense to choose one over the other?
Okay, lay it on me.
Imagine provincial incorporation as setting up shop in a bustling marketplace. With each province representing a unique stall.
Okay, a stall.
You're welcome to operate within that specific marketplace. But if you want to expand and sell your goods in other provinces?
Other provinces.
You'll need to set up separate stalls in each location.
Okay.
Federal incorporation, on the other hand.
Federal is like having a mobile shop.
Oh, a mobile shop.
That allows you to roam freely across the entire marketplace.
Yeah.
Setting up wherever you see opportunities.
So if your goal is to expand your business across Canada,
precisely,
federal incorporation provides that freedom of movement.
It gives you that national recognition and the legal right to operate.
In any province or territory.
Yep.
Without having to register separately in each location.
It's like having a master key.
A master key.
That unlocks doors.
Across the entire marketplace.
Okay, I like that.
That makes sense.
It's about future-proofing your business for growth and expansion.
It is.
Now let's address a question that often pops up, especially for entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Starting out with limited resources.
What if you can't afford to incorporate right away?
That's a common question.
Should you delay starting your business?
Not necessarily.
Until you have the financial resources to form a corporation? You can strategically stage your business structure.
Okay, strategically stage.
To align with your financial capacity?
Right.
You can start as a sole proprietor.
Okay, so you're a proprietor.
To test your concept.
Test the concept.
Gain traction and build up your financial resources.
Yeah, build up those resources.
As your business grows. And your revenue increases, you can then transition to a corporation when it makes financial sense.
So you can adapt.
Exactly.
And evolve your structure.
As your business grows and your circumstances change.
It's about being strategic and flexible. Aligning your structure with your current needs and resources while keeping an eye on the future.
But even if you start as a sole proprietor, it's essential to establish sound financial practices.
From the very beginning.
Absolutely.
Maintain organized financial records. Keep your business and personal expenses separate. And consult with a tax professional.
It's a good idea.
To ensure you're maximizing your deductions and minimizing your tax liabilities. Excellent advice.
It's never too early to establish those good financial habits.
You're right.
Now let's talk about a topic that's often neglected.
In the early stages of a business.
What's that?
Exit strategy.
Exit strategy.
What exactly does that mean?
Your exit strategy is your plan for the eventual transition of your business. It outlines what will happen to your company.
Down the road?
Down the road.
Will you sell it to another business?
Sell it.
Or an individual investor?
Right.
Pass it on to family members or key employees? Close it down entirely?
It seems a bit premature.
To be thinking about exiting when you're just getting started?
You're right.
But I understand why it's important to have a plan.
It might seem counterintuitive to think about the end at the beginning.
Right.
But having a clear exit strategy can help you make more informed decisions along the way. Right.
It acts as a roadmap.
Roadmap.
Guiding your choices and ensuring they align with your long-term goals.
So it's about being proactive.
Exactly.
And strategic.
Thinking ahead about the eventual fate of your business.
Your exit strategy might evolve over time. But having a general plan in place can help you stay focused.
Right.
And make decisions that support your desired outcome.
That makes a lot of sense.
Now let's shift gears and talk about a topic that's always top of mind for entrepreneurs.
All right.
Taxes.
Tax is the fun part.
We know that taxes can be complex and confusing.
They can be.
Especially for those new to the business world.
What are some key things to keep in mind?
The most important thing to remember when it comes to taxes and business structures.
What is it?
Is that your tax obligations vary.
Okay.
They vary depending on your chosen structure.
Okay. Based on the structure.
As a sole proprietor, you report your business income and expenses.
Directly on your personal tax return.
Right.
Using the T1 form.
T1.
You pay personal income tax on any profits. But you can take advantage of certain small business deductions.
Yeah, this deduction.
To reduce your tax liability.
Right. And if your earnings exceed $30,000 in a quarter, you'll need to register for and charge GST, HST.
That's right.
What about corporations?
Corporations have their own set of tax rules.
Their own set of rules.
So you'll need to file a separate corporate tax return.
Separate?
Called a T2.
A T2.
Each year, the corporation pays corporate tax on its profits.
Right. Corporate tax.
Then if those profits are distributed to shareholders as dividends, the shareholders pay personal income tax on those dividends.
So there's a two-tiered approach to taxation.
Precisely.
With corporations.
And while it sounds more complex,
Yeah, it does.
It also opens up opportunities for strategic tax planning.
Strategic tax planning, Jeff.
For example, as we discussed earlier, you can potentially defer taxes by retaining earnings within the corporation rather than distributing them immediately.
As dividends.
So it's about finding ways
to
optimize your tax strategy.
Within the rules and regulations.
That's it.
And this is where seeking professional advice from a qualified tax accountant or financial advisor becomes invaluable.
Absolutely.
It can help you navigate the complexities of
maximize your deductions and develop a tax plan that aligns with your business goals. Great advice.
Taxes are definitely an area where expert guidance can make a huge difference.
It really can.
Now let's touch on a topic that often causes anxiety.
For new entrepreneurs.
What's that?
Legal considerations. What are some common legal pitfalls?
One of the most common legal issues businesses face is contracts. Whether you're dealing with suppliers, customer, employees, or contractors, it's essential to have clear, concise, and legally sound contracts in place.
So no more handshake deals.
Or relying on verbal agreements.
In the business world, it's crucial to get everything in writing.
Get it in writing.
A well-drafted contract outlines the terms of the agreement. Protects the interests
of all parties involved. And can help prevent misunderstandings and disputes down the road.
That makes sense.
Are there any other legal areas
that business owners should pay particular attention to?
Intellectual property is a big one.
Intellectual property.
If you're developing a new product, service, or brand,
make sure you protect your intellectual property rights.
Protect those rights.
This might involve registering trademarks.
Trademarks.
Securing patents.
Patents?
Or obtaining copyrights.
Copyright.
Depending on the nature of your intellectual property.
So if I've invented a revolutionary new gadget or created a unique brand identity,
I need to take steps to legally protect it.
Absolutely. Protecting your intellectual property is crucial for preventing others from copying or using your creations without your permission. It's about securing your ownership and control over your innovations and creative works.
Great advice.
Any other legal tips for our listeners?
If you plan on hiring employees, it's vital to stay informed about employment laws and regulations.
Employment laws.
These laws cover a wide range of topics, including minimum wage, overtime pay, vacation entitlements, health and safety standards, and termination procedures.
So it's not just about finding great people. It's about treating them fairly and legally.
Precisely. Understanding and complying with employment laws
is essential for creating a fair and respectful work environment and avoiding potential legal issues. And my final piece of legal advice is this. Don't hesitate to seek professional legal counsel when you need it.
That's excellent advice.
Prevention is always better than cure.
It is.
Especially when it comes to legal matters.
Now, as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of business structures,
I want to end on a note of inspiration and motivation.
Inspiration.
Starting and running a business.
It can be a challenging journey filled with ups and downs.
It can.
What advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs?
The entrepreneurial journey is rarely a straight line to success.
There will be bumps along the way.
Moments
of doubt. And challenges that test your resilience. But it's important to remember that you're not alone.
Not alone.
Every entrepreneur faces setbacks and obstacles.
Everyone does.
As part of the process.
So what's the key to navigating those challenges?
Build a strong support system.
Support system.
And staying motivated. Connect with other entrepreneurs. Join those online communities we talked about.
Online community.
Find a mentor who's been there and done that. Surround yourself with people who understand the challenges you're facing. And can offer encouragement. Guidance. And a fresh perspective.
It's about creating a network
of people who can champion you, offer advice, and help you celebrate those wins along the way.
What other words of wisdom
would you share with those embarking on their entrepreneurial journey?
Good question.
Focus on your strengths.
Strengths.
And don't be afraid to delegate your weaknesses.
Delegate the weaknesses.
You don't have to be an expert in every aspect of your business.
It's true.
Surround yourself with talented individuals.
Okay, talented individuals.
Who can complement your skills and contribute their expertise to help you build a successful venture.
That's a great point.
Building a strong team
is essential for growth and success.
It is. And finally,
what's the most important piece of advice
you would give to someone starting their own business?
The most important.
What's the one thing?
You should always remember.
Believe in yourself and your vision.
Believe in yourself.
There will be times when you doubt yourself, question your decisions, and wonder if it's all worth it.
Yeah, I bet.
But in those moments of uncertainty, reconnect with your passion, your purpose, and the dream that ignited this journey.
Beautifully said.
It's about trusting your instincts. Staying true to your vision. And remembering
why you embarked on this adventure in the first place.
Exactly.
And remember, we're here to support you.
We are.
Every step of the way.
Keep learning.
Yes.
Keep growing. And keep chasing those entrepreneurial dreams.
And that concludes our deep dive into choosing a low-cost business structure in Canada.
We hope this exploration
has provided you with valuable insights
and the knowledge you need to make an informed decision
that aligns with your entrepreneurial goals.
Remember, the journey of entrepreneurship
is filled with challenges and rewards.
Embrace the adventure.
Seek support when you need it.
And never stop believing in the power of your dreams.
Here's to your success.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
We'll see you next time
for another insightful exploration into the world of knowledge and discovery.